Welcome to Gamepinions episode 36. I'm your host, Calvin, and today I'm joined by the one, the only, Kim Kim.
Hi.
Hello, Kim Kim.
Hello.
And now we're also joined by the guy with an extreme addiction to Jell-O chocolate pudding, John.
I could just throw something in there. If any of you want to buy a baseball game on the Switch, please do yourself a favor. Do not buy RBI baseball.
I can vouch for that. That game is terrible. So I brought you all here today because we have a lot of topics to talk about. And usually we start this thing off with us talking about the games that we've played throughout the week or however long it is between episodes. Recently, it's been a week, which is great. But we're not going to do that today because we have a lot of stuff to talk about. And we just kind of need to dive in. So are you guys all buckled in and ready to go?
Not buckled, but I'm ready.
Buckle your seatbelts. This is going to be a wild one.
More like, I'm not going to say. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So there's been a lot of news this week. And we're going to just hop into the first bit of it here. And it is Nintendo. And they had a Nintendo Direct this week. It was more or less a Pokemon Direct. I mean, it literally was a Pokemon Direct. And they revealed Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion pass. And for what I think I wrote this down correctly, for $45, your adventure continues with the Pokemon Sword expansion pass, containing new stories to experience, new Pokemon to encounter, and wild areas to explore. You'll even meet new and returning legendary Pokemon along the way. The expansion pass contains 2 expansions, releasing in winter 2020 and spring of 2020 respectively. Gotta throw in respectively. The following DLC is included: the Isle of Armor, scheduled to release by 30. Oh man, they jacked up the dates for this. All right, so basically
So we're already talking about expansions. I mean, how fast is it to get through that game?
Well, it's from what I've gathered, it's a pretty easy game. So.
Oh yeah, I think your sister said she got through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, she said she just kind of like.
It's kind of ridiculous. They just want money for expansions. I feel kind of cheated then.
I know. But so basically, the Isle of Armor is scheduled to release by June 30th of 2020.
Okay.
The Crown Tundra scheduled to release by November 30th of 2020. I don't know why they had to include that again, but they needed to, and
so this year, basically, like end of year.
Yes.
Kind of more towards mid to end, maybe. I mean, that's
correct. So purchase benefits: when you purchase the Pokemon Sword expansion pass, you will receive a Pikachu uniform and an Eevee uniform as purchase bonuses. When you purchase the Pokemon Shield expansion pass, you will receive an email to the address registered on your Nintendo account containing a serial code. Select mystery gift and get with code password from the in-game menu and enter the serial code. Mystery gifts. Mystery gifts will be displayed in the menus when you visit the first Pokemon Center in the game. Approximate play time 1 hour. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
I'm so confused.
So it's like, hey, if you get this for this, you're going to get a uniform. If not, you're going to get an email.
I don't understand what they're trying. I guess you get some sort of in-game mystery gift, but at the same time, that doesn't make any sense because, like, how is that supposed to bait me in?
I honestly do not even understand what they are even talking about because it just seems like so weird. It's like you're going to get these, cute in-game things you can wear for Pokemon Sword, and Pokemon Shield, it's like log on to your computer, open your email,
remember your password,
get the serial
very Nintendo
code.
thing to do, right? Just make things as convoluted as possible.
Yeah, but it's like, why does it have to be with just Shield? Like, I mean, why couldn't Sword do that too?
I know. Do we not get a shirt with the other one?
Why is it so drastically different?
I'm so confused.
It's very strange.
And it's like they're trying to add those on because they know these expansions obviously look like a money grab.
Yeah.
FYI.
So I went ahead and I looked up just to see what people are talking about. If people are upset with this, people are happy with it. So this is at RyGuy101. The Pokemon Sword and Shield expansions feel like a much better idea than a third version of the game, which is what Pokemon typically does. At this point, games will be costing $60 a piece for both versions, so I'd rather they expand on the base product through expansions rather than try to force us to buy another game. Good point.
Yeah, but how much are the expansions?
I think the expansions, it's $30 for both of them combined.
Okay, so 15 per.
Which I think that's for the pass. I don't know if you can buy them individually or not. I didn't really dig that far. So.
Wow.
So this next tweet was from at real Turnip Lord. There you go. So Game Freak didn't spend all their time modeling new Pokemon and ignoring the original generations. They intentionally left them out of the game so you can buy the DLC expansions in order to catch them. I wonder if fans are happy with that.
Oh my gosh, wait, they're just telling me that they put the originals in the expansion? It's not like a new set?
I think that there are some originals in there. I'm not really sure
if they did that, that was a really cheap move of them to do.
Yeah, I mean...
That should have been the new Pokemon in the expansion.
Well, that's the thing, though, because the original Pokemon were pretty much already set up for Switch because we just had the Let's Go series. So they're already, set up to go. It was just I don't know. I mean, I would assume they were all ready to go. So I don't really know how many of the originals are actually going to be in this, though. So I'm still kind of, just like on the surface here. So there might be, additional things that I don't know. But that's pretty much all I know about that. But I guess a bigger piece of news for a lot of Pokemon fans, though, however, was that Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, not XD, unfortunately. So it's a sad face. Remake of the 2006 Red Rescue Team and Blue Rescue Team is coming to Switch on March 6th, and there's a demo available right now in the eShop. That series is one of TJ's favorites, so I'm sure he was pretty happy about it. It's basically, if you've never played it, it's a game where you play as a Pokemon, but I think you're a human and you're trying to turn back. I forget. It's some kind of
like the Detective Pikachu thing. Like you're a Pokemon, and then I guess you're trying to become human or solve a mystery, I suppose. I mean,
well, it's basically spoilers.
Oh,
No, but basically,
Sorry.
it's kind of like a RPG. A little bit more difficult than the traditional Pokemon games, and it's kind of like, I guess I'd consider it a dungeon crawler.
I'm still waiting for Pokemon Snaps.
Oh,
Give me my camera back.
Pokemon Snap will never be a thing.
That was
ever
better
again.
than still taking selfies today.
No, Pokemon
Yeah,
Snap.
no, I would play that game for hours. I just want to take cute pictures of Pokemon. That's all I want to do.
But you can do that with the screenshot button.
No.
So we went ahead and grabbed some tweets for that too. This is at Matt Ukana, perhaps. Some days you wake up feeling like your life just isn't worth living. You begin to lose all hope. Wonder why you're even still alive after all these years. But then you remember that Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, not XD, releases on March 6th, 2020, and suddenly, it's all okay.
That was really deep.
So
Was
that
that
guy's
like a
obviously...
tweet or two tweets? I mean,
That was one.
Wow.
That was one solid tweet about a game that Matt is very excited about.
this guy can make a tweet seem like a book. Very
Yes.
impressive.
And then Maddox Otter said, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is my childhood. The news that there's going to be remakes on the Switch has me crying for like an hour. Oh, sorry, has had me crying for like an hour. I couldn't be more happy about this. Can't wait to play Skitty again. Can't even if I can't, that's fine. Mystery Dungeon, okay. So this was obviously received really well, and it's a really interesting style they kind of took on because it's kind of like a water painting-like look, which
So
is
we're playing basically in a picture.
It kind of looks like it. Like it's
Oh, I'm sorry,
changed a
painting.
lot. Yeah, it changed a lot since it was on the original DS. So they did a really good job, I guess, recreating it. So it's pretty neat. It's neat that they decided to go ahead and bring that back. So now we have the next one was that Super Smash Brothers DLC character was revealed today. And it is, I don't even know how to pronounce the name, honestly. Byleth from Fire Emblem Three Houses. I've never played the game. John, do you know anything about this?
From Three Houses? No, I have not played Three Houses. It's from Three Houses. That's all I know.
I don't know.
I think people were kind of disappointed about it because it's like, do we really need another Fire Emblem?
It was like,
It's like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Fire Emblem characters are cool and all, but it's like,
every time they release one, it's like, here, you can have 2 in 1.
yeah, it's like,
Technically,
are
I
you
have
a
like 20.
boy or a girl? Yeah. It's I don't know. I'm kind of getting tired of the Fire Emblem characters, but I mean, they're going to continuously add these
Keep
characters.
shoving them in your mouth. I'm sorry.
What?
I don't know. You kind of want to throw up after they keep giving you the same thing. You want something different. Shake it up with someone we don't expect.
Yeah, I don't know.
Give us what is his name? Tom Nook in Animal Crossing. I want him. The mayor didn't deserve.
Yeah.
They gave that poodle too much.
They need to introduce like a different character from a different series at some point, because I mean, I think Xenoblade should probably have another representative. I mean, there's so many that probably deserved another representative before Fire Emblem. So I don't know.
I vote
I wanted to
SpongeBob.
see the Monster
Oh
Hunter.
God. I would actually really like
if you
that.
have a sword
I feel
character, just like generic Monster Hunter, different skins, different armor.
Or the cat. Little cat. Right?
Well, the cat could be in his like sidekick
Oh.
too. It kind of be like,
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah. I know what you mean
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
I thought that would be cute.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cute. I wanted Travis Touchdown in there because I feel like he'd fit really well. And No More Heroes 3 is coming out this year, so I figured that would probably be a good character to add. But I mean, Fire Emblem again?
I think they should add
I don't know.
Sam.
Should add who?
Death Stranding Sam.
Oh God, they should just add the BB.
Yeah.
Well, they'll be one
They just
character.
add the BB in the little pod or whatever, and then like he smashes out. That's
And
how
then,
he
like-
enters the battlefield. And he just starts crawling
Or it's
out.
like Final Smash is like
still
him
hoping-
just building up a stack of like cargo and just like smacking it down.
And then have Norman Reedus as an actual character so that it looks like the BB and him are play fighting again.
They need
That'd be
to.
great.
They need to add the Majora's Mask Moon as a playable character.
Oh gosh, no.
Just shrink him. Just shrink him. He can fit. His final smash can just be destroying the stage and the game's over. It works. You can do it. And that kind of goes back to when I wanted the Death Star to be a flyable ship in Battlefront, but that never happened either. You just shrink it. It has the maneuverability of a TIE fighter. All right, so there is another Nintendo-related news topic as well. BioShock Collection is rumored to be heading to the Switch, and I grabbed this report from Polygon, which they grabbed it from GameRating.org, which is a Taiwan website. And according to the ratings leak on that website, 2K's BioShock could be coming to Nintendo Switch. It lists Switch along with the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I feel like this actually has a really good chance of happening, but there really wasn't any other information besides that, but something to keep an eye on.
I mean,
going
any
forward.
game that comes to the Switch, I think it's great, handheld capability to play them.
Yeah, and I've actually never played the BioShock series, but I always hear people talk really highly
Apparently,
about it.
it's really great. My little brother did. He loved it. So I definitely think it would be worth playing for a fact. That might be something I'd do for our channel.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun.
I'd probably play it on the toilet because it would be on
Oh,
the Switch.
gosh.
I play everything on Twitter.
That's the only place I play games. It's so hard getting the PlayStation in there.
Sounds like you're not trying.
Just have a TV mounted on the wall.
The toilet station.
Always thought they should make a gaming toilet. We need to make a podcast episode about the gaming toilet that I had an idea for.
I just get a bunch of mirrors and just like all the way to TV.
Is there any latency?
There's no latency. It's the best.
Do mirrors lag? Everything's reversed. Well, I guess technically, if you add enough mirrors, wouldn't it reverse it back to being normal
Now you're
again?
taking with portals.
It's like, hey, well, actually, it's working just fine now.
I give you the portal gun.
Wow, that is like awful.
There's no latency, so can't complain, right?
It's like this somehow works.
Just
It's all throughout your
works.
house, up the stairs. It's
I
like,
used to think that's what the the app that you could stream your gameplay to, like your phone. I was like, why else would you need that besides going to like the toilet?
Oh yeah.
I didn't understand that, to be honest with
I
you.
used to play like hours worth of Mario Kart on the toilet. Like I'd be done doing my business and I would just be in there playing Mario Kart.
Smelling
It's
his
like,
feces.
oh god. Well, I'd flush the toilet, but all right. So this podcast has turned into toilet humor. We're gonna continue on.
Opinions.
So yeah, toilet pinions. So we're gonna head on over to Xbox, and yeah, we're talking about feces PCs. You might as well talk about the Xbox. I'm just kidding.
Oh my god, don't you dare.
I'm just kidding. So this is kind of like a weird story, and in a way, like I think it's good, but I also think it is somewhat bad. So apparently for the Xbox Series X, there's not going to be any true exclusives for the first 2 years. So before you freak out, hold on. Xbox Game Studios chief Matt Booty, which I hope that's how you pronounce his name because that is fantastic. Matt Booty said in an interview with McVuck.com, even that sounds pretty. I'm pretty sure it's not how that's pronounced.
I'm gonna pee myself.
I already
Welcome to
did.
Toilet
I wore my
Pinions.
diaper today, though. As our content comes out over the next 2 years, all of our games, sort of like PC, will play up and down the family of devices, Booty explains. We want to make this is very immature. We want to make sure that if somebody invests in Xbox between now and the Series X, that they feel like they've made a good investment, and that's what we're committed to. And that we're committed to them with content. Our approach is to pick 1 or 2 IP that we're going to focus on and make sure that they're at the launch of the console, taking advantage of all of the features, and for us that's going to be Halo Infinite, which is a big opportunity. It's the first time in over 15 years that we'll have a Halo title launching in sync with a new console, and that team is definitely going to be doing things to take advantage of the Series X. So there's I guess a couple different ways to look at this. The first thing that jumps out is this is extremely consumer friendly. Just because, I mean, this isn't uncommon, but in a way it is, because you're basically saying all of the biggest exclusives on your brand new console are also going to be cross-gen with your previous console as well. And it's good in a sense because it's, not forcing people to upgrade, but at the same time, it's like, it's kind of time to move on from the Xbox One. So I'm kind of split on that.
It's disgusting I feel like for fans of Xbox, because I mean we want to be there for all of the little goodies that gives us, but at this point, if you're telling us we're not going to have exclusives, what's stopping me from plugging in an Xbox controller to my PC and playing the games that's coming out cross-platform?
Well, this is the argument that I'm going to make, though, is that you can still get the Xbox, One X, the Xbox One X, or you can get the Xbox Series X, and they're going to, like I said, they're going to have, the exclusives are going to be cross-gen. So they're still going to be on Xbox. But you basically are going to be given the option. So if you want to upgrade, you want the better visuals, you want the, all the bells and whistles, you get the Xbox Series X.
Basically, you're just telling me it's reverse compatible to all the prior games.
Well, no, because it's going to be a more like upgraded, a more
Well, of course, the system's going to be able to handle it probably a whole lot better than what the previous gen did, but
yeah, like I feel like if you're going to buy the Xbox anyway, or if you're not going to buy the Xbox anyway, it doesn't really impact you because if you have an Xbox One, you know what I mean? It's kind of weird.
It's somewhat disappointing knowing that this is a gaming console. And you're telling me you decided to put your money in just your console and in the hopes that Halo is going to be some sort of bomb drop. How about funding some studios to be able to make games to put onto the Xbox exclusively? You know, like I'm kind of triggered and a little salty because it's a gaming console. I mean, it's for games, and if you're telling us you have no new games to provide that I can't get elsewhere,
okay, I see what you mean.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I
guess,
can just look at my other options then, especially when it comes to the money. That money that you make is something that you want to make sure you're putting in, that you're going to get something out of.
Yeah.
And if you're telling me that all the people who already are Xbox fans or already have an Xbox, and it's the prior console, I can guarantee you they probably have the other ones as well. And to be honest with you, we play the newest console most of the time.
We do.
If there's no new games for the next console besides Halo,
which you can also get on the Xbox One, apparently, according to this.
If they're going to be able to get it on the Xbox, you know, the one currently, Xbox One, then what's the point of upgrading besides to have maybe a better system or configuration? You know, is it going to be their streaming features that they're going to try to sell on? Is it going to be this new way of recording gameplay and footage? Is there something they're not telling us that is going to contribute more to social media sharing? And to me, I think that there's something going on with that because that's really popular right now and it's never going to go away.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of disappointing it's become that rather than strictly, you know, try to fund some games to come out just for them. You know, I don't know. I miss the whole days in the war. The war days.
The console war days. John, what do you think about that?
I mean,
think it's a good move or a bad move?
I mean, I was just thinking of the whole situation. I mean, it's really hard to compare it to this one, but the new 3DS, which wasn't really, I wouldn't say it's not in the same position at all, just because they kind of had this thing as a new console.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kind of like DSi in a way, almost.
DSi, I feel like, yeah, kind of like DSi. So I guess Nintendo's also kind of known to do this, but they don't really pitch it much as something entirely new, just something that's better than their current one. So
yeah,
I don't know. New 3DS did get some exclusives, but you know, after all that, you know, people complain. It's like, oh, when's the new 3DS gonna get the exclusives? And had like 2 full releases and then a couple of digital downloads, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that was also kind of a different situation, too, because it wasn't necessarily, you know, entering like a next gen. It was just kind of like a, you know, here's an update to it. It's a revision. Give you
that's
a
kind
little
of
bit.
what like this is, too. You know how we have the Xbox One X versus the S or something like that?
Yeah, the
one
X and then the original.
Of the different versions that's coming out. You know, maybe if they pitched it like that, I don't really know.
But this is their next generation console, though. It's supposed to, but it's like, I don't know, like the Xbox One X is still very powerful. So it's like, you know, it came out a couple years ago, and it's like, I don't think they're ready to abandon it just yet.
Is it worth just to upgrade? Like, there has to be more baiting us to get this brand new thing. You know, I just feel like there's something else that they need to do to push us to want to get the next console at this point.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I said, it's consumer friendly in a sense that you're not forcing your fan base to upgrade, but then at the same time, you're kind of, you know, handcuffing yourself because your new system is losing the incentive for people to buy it.
Imagine all the parents going in the store and being like, what's the difference? What can my kid play that they can't play right now? And then they'll be like,
exactly the same.
Actually, no, ma'am, they're the same. Oh, well, we're going to get the cheaper model. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does seem a bit weird. Like, to me, I feel like I would have just made Halo, the new Halo, Infinite, just a Xbox, you know,
they should have just had
exclusive.
like this intermediate console that's like maybe just like instead of making a new gen because we're not ready for that quite yet, here's a Halo Xbox console and just had it completely customized if Halo is literally what they're just basing this new system off, which honestly it sounds like that's what they're doing. If you put all your money in Halo, just come out with a new Halo box, an Xbox that's based off the Halo editions. I don't care. People would buy that, and you don't have to call it a new gen console. I don't understand why they feel like that's necessary when that's not what it really is.
Now, it also is important that they said this was just for the first 1 to 2 years. So after that, then the Xbox One is going to be phased out.
Yeah, after the first 1 or 2 years, hopefully you don't convert over to PlayStation and the VR
Well, that's the
systems,
thing.
right?
It's like you would think that's like their the first 2 to 3 years, first 1 to 3 years. That's where all the major growth comes in, right? I mean, that's where you get the bulk of your sales. So you're kind of setting yourself on the wrong foot, even though you're still, like, I still appreciate the gesture, but it's like, at the same time, it's like you guys have to put your console in a position to succeed, and you do that by giving it games that you can only buy on that console. So...
And what's really confusing about that, too, is they're going to not only just lose profits in that, but think about the subscription you pay for online. Nowadays, how relevant is it to have that online gameplay? For Xbox, let's say most of your friends are playing PlayStation, you could say, well, I'm going to cancel my Xbox subscription until, I don't know, when there's more games on the Xbox that I can actually play that are exclusive. Halo being one of them, which is obviously going to be their moneymaker. Granted, that's true, but what about Game Pass? What's the point if all the ones, you've already played, especially in 2 years, you're probably going to tackle some of the games you wanted to play in the prior gens, and you're probably just going to start playing on a different console or maybe just find it more interesting. That's a lot of time to change your mind about the consoles you want in your home, your kids and their decisions. How relevant is Xbox going to be in it? It's kind of upsetting because I'm a hardcore fan.
Yeah, it's like I said, I just have mixed feelings on it. I think from a business standpoint, it's probably not their best decision. And this could be, one of those things where it's like we're reading it a certain way, and maybe this isn't exactly what it means.
Yeah, there might be some stuff they're not telling us, obviously, for the reveal, and maybe there's a big surprise, and we don't know.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I have on that, though. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, you don't want to talk about
we do have some
Matt Booty's IP on toilet fingers anymore.
Oh,
Matt Booty.
It's smelling like booty right now, Mr. Booty. I want it to be bootyful, so work on it.
That Xbox is indeed bootyful. So at Shade Doken on Twitter wrote, so there's no reason to upgrade to the Xbox Series X, as Microsoft confirmed exclusives will be available on Xbox One. And he used a facepalm emoji, which, I mean, that's kind of a point that we brought up too. What? Thinking emoji. Yeah, that is thinking emoji. At Jez Corden, people who are concerned that Xbox Series X won't have arbitrary, I can't say it, whatever, locked exclusives, we're never going to buy one anyway.
Okay. Hello. I would buy them just to have them up my butt, but thanks. Seriously, though, I don't understand people like that. Like, we can have opinions, and still love our consoles, okay?
Apparently you cannot. But, I mean, it's like I said.
I just want them to have exclusives.
They should have exclusives.
The exclusives. Like a whole Xbox line. The exclusives. I'm sorry.
Exclusives.
That's cute, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, moving on. Final Fantasy VII Remake and Avengers have been delayed. It is officially game delay season. And this comes from Kotaku. Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was slated to release on March 3rd, is being delayed until April 10th for extra polish. This is at Emma Carwadine. So many people are complaining about Final Fantasy VII Remake being held back. I'm over the moon. It's been pushed back to be polished off. I've waited so long for this, and I want it to be perfect and not buggy as shit.
Well, I mean,
yes. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a game called Duke Nukem? What was it?
Forever.
What?
Was it forever?
I don't think it was
Do you
forever.
mean
It was-
Dookie? Sorry, I was going back to the potty humor. Okay. Anyway,
It was.
At Vulgar Shift 77. Well, I'm sad that the Final Fantasy VII remake got delayed. It's better to fix the game, but as a make good, they should release that playable demo we all know exists to the public as soon as possible. Which, they haven't really even said a word about that, but it's like everyone knows that it exists and they're just kind of holding it back for some reason. So that would be interesting if they did end up doing that, but the delay is really not even that far off. So I think it was only like a month. Thought I had that written down, but apparently, oh yeah, I did.
Oh, we heard
it was
that trailer,
March 3rd
like
and-
they were back, and it was like, I guess not, not yet.
Yeah, remember the grinder?
The what?
Yeah, I think we already had
I'm
a
lost.
talk about that one.
Yeah, we'll talk about that again one day. I think the 10th anniversary is coming up. What would have been the 10th anniversary? Okay.
Are we still talking about Final Fantasy?
Not anymore, no. So
Oh,
Final Fantasy got delayed, and then on the Avengers developers website, Crystal Dynamics, they wrote this: "To our fans at Crystal Dynamics, our ambition has always been to deliver the ultimate Avengers game experience. In order to achieve that goal, we've made the difficult decision to move the release date of Marvel Avengers to September 4th, 2020. As fans ourselves, it's an honor and a privilege to work on these legendary characters, and we know what these superheroes mean to us and the true believers around the world." I don't know what that means. When we set out to bring you our vision for Marvel's Avengers, we committed to delivering an original story-driven campaign, engaging co-op and compelling content for years to come. To that end, we will spend the additional development time focusing on fine-tuning and polishing the game to the high standards our fans expect and deserve. The worldwide teams working on Marvel Avengers sincerely appreciate the support you've shown. We thrive on your enthusiasm and feedback, and we can't wait to show you more. We apologize for the delay. We are confident that it will be worth the wait.
Now, for like the Final Fantasy and the delays, I can understand, especially a game that has a huge fan base. I can understand them trying to take their time and polish up anything that they think is going to be a concern. And maybe it's a big issue that they didn't know was going to happen until they try to render, things into, like maybe one of their tests or whatnot. And they don't want to disappoint their fans.
Yeah.
They just weren't ready, which I completely understand. I've also seen games where they delay it and then the game comes out anyway and it's not what you expect. And it's really disappointing. So I highly doubt that's the case with the Final Fantasy game because they've all been very good. So I doubt that it's going to be bad. I think that people just need to hang on in there. So.
Yeah. And it's, I tend to think that delays are good, just because, any extra work that goes into the game usually is beneficial. Some games probably could have used a remake or, not a remake,
I'm like,
a retool.
scrap and redo the whole thing.
So, yeah. Now we're going to go ahead. Oh, wait, no, I missed one more, and this actually came out today. And this was Cyberpunk 2077 was also delayed, and they wrote on, and CD Projekt Red wrote this on their website. "We have important news regarding Cyberpunk 2077's release date, and we'd like to share with you today. Cyberpunk 2077 won't make the April release window, and we're moving the launch date to September 17th, 2020. We are currently at a stage where the game is complete and playable, but there's still work to be done. Night City is massive, full of stories, content, and places to visit, but due to the sheer scale and complexity of it all, we need more time to finish playtesting, fixing, and polishing. We want Cyberpunk 2077 to be our crowning achievement for this generation, and postponing launch will give us the precious months we need to make the game perfect. Expect more regular updates on progress as we get closer to the new release date. We look forward to seeing you in Night City. Thank you for your ongoing support. So once again, a good move to just go ahead and delay that. And that was slated to come out in April, which is just mind-boggling to me.
That's really strange that all these games are being delayed. It makes you think if they're trying to delay them to have a better launch time so that they're not affected by, especially something like Animal Crossing coming out, it's going to be what people are probably going to be hooked on if they have Switches. And I'm wondering if they're trying to arrange them in ways that they feel like they're going to be more successful in the time period they release. That also had me thinking about that. But of course, you can only delay. You can't really release sooner. So.
Yeah. Yeah, they just didn't want to compete with Animal Crossing. So
yes, back off.
I guess moving on from that, Sony is skipping E3 again. A Sony Interactive Entertainment spokesperson had this to say to The Verge. After thorough evaluation, Sony Interactive Entertainment has decided not to participate in E3 2020. We have great respect for the ESA as an organization, but we do not feel the vision of E3 2020 is the right venue for what we are focused on this year. We will build upon our global event strategy in 2020 by participating in hundreds of consumer events across the globe. Our focus is on making sure fans feel part of the PlayStation family and have access to play their favorite content. We have a fantastic lineup of titles coming to the PlayStation 4, and with the upcoming launch of the PlayStation 5, we are truly looking forward to a year of celebration with our fans. Really not surprising. I feel like Sony and the ESA have kind of had a rocky relationship the last couple years. We'll get into more of that in a second. But this is at EndoXCaudio. Why are you skipping E3? It's honestly the one time of year I go out of my way to research games and products. I like to see the plan for the upcoming year all in one place, and I truly think this is a missed marketing opportunity. Please reconsider.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems with that thing. I mean, what is he upset as? Like what, consumer? What's?
I think he's just upset that he's not going to get to, I guess, watch all the press conferences together.
He can't binge it all in one go. He has to go elsewhere for his sources.
Yeah, it's not going to be in one centralized location.
Yeah.
Yeah. At Nick Marcel, he says, Sony was the third most popular publisher at E3 2019 without even being there. They overshadowed the entirety of Gamescom with a tweet about Insomniac. They were trending and gained a shit ton of traffic just showing a logo. And people still question their decision to skip E3. And this is actually funny because Nick Marcel, because I was sometimes I check out people's accounts, and he basically said he doesn't like podcasts. So congratulations, Nick.
Hi, Nick. How you
are
doing?
on a podcast. So Sony has, they have, I think they're, considered the, he even said it. They were the third most popular publisher last year. And even before that, I mean, Sony is a big draw. The PlayStation brand is huge, and it being absent from E3. I'm honestly surprised that, the ESA didn't do everything they could to try to convince Sony to, show off their PlayStation 5
they
there.
might have. We don't really know what they did on their end, but honestly, PlayStation probably knows it has a lot of power.
I think so
at
too.
the same time, the whole, how it's been going.
Yeah. So Sony kind of has gone in a more extreme way than what Nintendo did way back, I think, in 2014. I think that was the first year they stopped going up on stage. And this was from at the video game her. I avoid gaming politics, but I find it interesting that when Nintendo opted out of E3's press conferences, but still being at E3, mind you, it made people angry. Yet some of the same people are praising, not talking about those who don't care, Sony for not going all out. Weird. Which I do find kind of weird too, but I also think it is kind of different times now. I feel like E3 has kind of soured for a lot of people.
personally, they all have their own sufficient amount of money. I mean, half these things are coming out with launchers and they have their own consoles and their own platforms people go check. I mean, heck, people go to their Twitters first nowadays. I mean, just bloop, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Bloop. I mean, it's so easy nowadays versus, I mean, back when it was like, this is the source, you know. I don't know. It's a little different nowadays. It's hard to describe how I feel like our media and announcements have changed.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, I think so too. And, you know, I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like E3 is not as big a deal as it used to be.
Remember back in the day, you know, when a new game came out, because you'd check GameStop every single time you'd go into the store and you'd go, look, something's new here. And now it's like, oh, what's on Steam?
Yeah.
Oh, what's in my digital library that says new? You know, I don't know.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
it's just different, if that makes sense.
And I feel like, you know, it's probably a little bit more exciting, you know, if Sony just did an event at a random time showing off the PlayStation 5 than, you know, you knowing that, oh, I just tune in E3 and then it's going to show up.
Hey,
But
PS5
what we
when?
want to...
Now.
Yeah. And it's now. Here we go. Which is going to happen. It's, you know, it's going to happen at a random time, maybe before or after E3, or around E3. Who knows?
Nintendo's just like, coming out tomorrow, coming out now.
And Switch Pro, which will be revealed in July, the second week of July. Calling it now. But in response, the trade group that hosts E3, the Electronic Software Association, or ESA as we have been calling it, posted this on their website. E3 is a signature event celebrating the video game industry and showcasing the people, brands, and innovations redefining entertainment loved by billions of people around the world. E3 2020 will be an exciting, high-energy show featuring new experiences, partners, exhibitor spaces, activations, I don't know what that means, and programming that will entertain new and veteran attendees alike. Exhibitor interest with our new activations is gaining the attention of brands that view E3 as a key opportunity to connect with the video game fans worldwide. I don't even know what activations means.
I am so confused
Yeah, well, I don't know.
at this very moment.
I think people are kind of missing the key point of E3. I mean, I guess as real, it's always been like a game thing, but what it actually is, it's just a trade show. I mean, I don't know if you guys know what trade shows are, ever been to a trade show. You know, a lot of networking, you kind of show off your stuff.
Go ahead. No, describe
Yeah.
it to them.
Yeah, it's a trade show.
Describe it.
It's mostly for the people who go there in person. The people who are kind of getting bummed out that the big guys aren't going, don't really know what the whole thing's really about. You got to be there in person, really. I mean, or at least be associated somehow, have connections there.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I see all these people complain, but it's like Sony, Nintendo, they're just reformatting how they give the news. Nothing's really changed much besides just the presentation. And people kind of miss out the presentation just because it's kind of silly, a little bit wonky. People just like waited every year because they got to see the silly things, all the memes that get posted. And maybe just a few announcements.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the announcements get really the
this
same
isn't
way, just kind of
CannaCon.
more spread out
Okay.
this time. I don't know, it's...
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I've gone to
I
E3
thought it
3
was
years.
cute.
It's pretty cool to see in person. I really like it actually for all the indie devs. It's really good for all the indie developers. You know, they can go to each other's booths. They can show off to press, maybe just to, like other.
That's something
developers.
I don't really hear a lot about. John, go ahead and talk about this.
Yeah.
indie-
So
indie
yeah, I've been to
developers being there.
E3 a few times. I really like the indie booth sections. I mean, one, less line. Two, I think they have more interesting content than most of these, you know, the big name devs with all their yearly shooting games, yearly maybe RPGs, but actually that's not as yearly.
Yeah,
but,
they could shed some light on some of the smaller.
what was that one I saw one of the years? Was it butt sniffing dogs or something? I don't know. It's a really obscure, weird game.
What?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, a lot of weird concepts. You see, there's a whole indie, like, different part of the floor indie section where they show off all their weird
Yeah.
concepts. It's really cool to be there. A lot of them, they don't take off fully just because they're so obscure that a lot of people won't buy into them. But concepts get traded around. People maybe get picked up by developers. Kind of just networking around. That's the cool part of it being a trade show on the floor. So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So are the indie? Because I'm kind of curious. I don't know if there's like a difference, but are the indie developers on like a different portion of the floor, or are they on like a separate area?
I mean, it depends, like, quote unquote, how indie, like, how big they really are, how much floor space, because, ESA charges a lot more for bigger floor space, and that's why the big name developers
Oh yeah,
are,
yeah, they charge a crap.
and that's why they're
ton.
dropping out.
Yeah.
But the floor size, it varies. I mean, if you ever gone to a convention, the floor, like the actual booths vary, and
Well,
Yeah.
describe it, John. Is this something like for the indie
okay,
booth?
so
Can you walk up? Can you
E3,
like test play?
There's 2 halls. One contains like the big names, and then maybe like smaller names. Like, so the big names like being Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, or at least when they were there. Capcom maybe in the same hall, or maybe the other hall, depending on how much space they had. Who else? I think Bethesda had a. Yeah, Bethesda had a sizable one.
Okay.
Some of the bigger ones, and then you had the smaller ones.
Nintendo.
Let's see. Who would you say it's a smaller student? Like, let's say like Capcom. Like, what's a
Oh gosh.
A smaller studio?
yeah, but not really.
Do you mean like indie or?
Nah.
Oh, trying to think.
Remember, it's been a while since I've been E3. I don't quite remember, but
Yeah, I
But
don't
basically,
know.
the smaller, less known.
yeah, just
Yeah.
Not necessarily less known.
yeah. I guess just like smaller than the big 3, I guess. But I think the big 3 were in
Maybe like Rocket League almost.
Sonics. I don't think Sonics had a booth, or maybe they did.
Not the year,
I was there when.
because I mean they don't really
Or
have
at least
new games.
rising
Yeah,
ones.
but,
At the very least, ones that aren't as
indie
substantial,
section,
but-
like all those really really small ones, are all like crowded in one little spot. And then you got the ones
Okay.
that make merchandise and accessories. Those are cool too. So you get to go actually try out all the little all the little accessories they sell. I had
pretty cool.
someone who, or 2 people from a studio come up to me and my friend who were there. They're showing off their Spider-Man was like that runner, some runner game, like what is like the endless runner,
Like Temple Run?
Run, something like that. But it was Spider-Man, and then they had us play. They asked if they could record us while we played, and then like share our opinions. So that part's really cool. Really show up, because every now and then you bump
That's
into
cool.
people do that, and then you get to just like run into like some almost celebrity status gaming industry people. So I ran into
that would
Reggie
be awesome if that was.
and Bill. Well, they were leaving.
Which is cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
I saw several
I
YouTubers. Smooth Like Groove, I saw him too.
Oh, Smooth McGroove.
Yeah, I saw him.
Ooh.
I didn't go up to him. I just saw him like, oh, Smooth Like Groove's here with.
You should have walked up to him and been like, "Ba-da-ba-ba."
Man, yeah, we were. This was at. We were showing off what Fallout 4. Yeah, and this was at the Bethesda booth, so I saw him there.
Oh, okay. Oh man, it was
Let's
that
see.
long ago that you went?
Who else? I recognize some other YouTubers. I think Kanye West was there for some reason.
It was probably for like that dance.
It was.
game
Yeah,
or
that's remember. He had a bag. I saw he had a bag. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it was probably for
Man,
that Just Dance or
um,
whatever.
I saw Shiggy.
Ooh, Shigi Miramoto.
I saw Ayanuma. Because I was hanging out the Nintendo booth a lot.
I probably would have done the
What
same.
else did I see? As far as the big people go, yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
These are
So,
bragging.
E3.
I want to smell the air.
Yeah, I smell the air. It smells like nerd sweat. Probably do that. Yeah, but E3 just in general is just you just gotta be there. Anyone is like never been, complaining about them dropping out. It's not really missing anything. I mean, you're missing it only if you go. But E3 now is just kind of dying
Yeah.
out just because they're charging, the for the boost so much for boost space. They opened up to public a few years ago. They're about $200 public passes, but I think that's what's kind of killing it off. Too now they're having just so many random people just, I mean, they want to try out. There's people who don't have press passes. Maybe they want to be like an avid, pursuing like a website they want to put news on. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be worse this year because they actually bumped up the amount of public passes that they're going to distribute out or that they're going to sell to 25,000.
That's crazy. I mean,
Which
I think it was 12 before.
it is a
I
big.
kind of hope it becomes
convention
more
center, but-
indie-like rather than the big names. People just like having all their news, I feel like, combined and then presented to everybody. Like, here's your binge for the next year. Like what's coming. Here's your quick binge for you. But I mean, that's great and all. It's just that I kind of like what you're telling me about, like how there's the smaller ones that are on the rise, and I would rather have someone binge me that, like what's new that I haven't heard about coming to me, rather than the big names I can find literally on my feed every single page. I mean, it's just everywhere. I'd rather like to know some brand new ones maybe I wasn't focused on. I kind of want to see E3 go in that direction.
Yeah. I mean, I know, like, personally, it's kind of like a dream of mine to go and cover E3. So, I mean, I want it to, survive and I want it to thrive, but, I just have seen some troubling things, some trends. And it's weird because if you look at E3's attendance, the totals are so different per year because they go through, like, cycles where, they open up to the public, they close it off, they go to a smaller venue.
I think that was at one time.
I don't know. It's
Santa
just,
Monica, I believe.
yeah, and it was like really small, so it's like, that was their lowest attendance. But yeah, so it's hard to really gauge. It seems like whenever they have a down year, the next year is the highest because, last year, not last year, but in 2018, they had their highest total. And then it went down the next year, which, chances are it probably will. But, looking back at like their attendance history, whenever it, had a couple years of growth, it either went down for one reason or another. So I think this situation is a little bit different. But I will say that Phil Spencer, basically the head of Xbox, he said that our team is hard at work on E3, and we look forward to sharing with all of you who love to play what's ahead for us. Our art form has consistently been propelled by the cross-section of creativity and technical progress. 2020 is a milestone year in that journey for for Team Xbox. So they're working hard on their E3, but it kind of almost makes me wonder if, the other two really aren't going to be, instrumental in E3. It's like there's not really a ton of pressure for them. So I don't know. It kind of lessens, I guess, the show when there's not like a whole bunch of competition, I guess, there in terms of like their presentations. But I don't know. It's kind of weird. But I did write down some things that is kind of happening with E3 and just some of the situations, like going back to like our attendance that we were talking about. And we got a comment on one of our videos, and I'll go ahead and read it. Well, I'm not going to read the name or anything. He quoted me from what I said, and I think our Xbox One X episode.
I believe.
So he says, or I guess I said, E3 is not as big as it used to be. And he quotes. He says, how big is it? How big was it? There are dozens of other tech shows throughout the year. Do you also randomly say those shows are less than what they used to be? Or do you only repeat propaganda you saw on Twitter and social media? Now, I just want to say that I'm not an expert on these things. I don't think any of us are claiming to be experts.
No, we are not experts, and I don't even look at Twitter enough for propaganda.
Well, and that's the thing. And it's like, when I make a blanket statement, like I'll usually lead with saying like, now this might be a little bit of a blanket statement or something like that. The thing is though, is that this really isn't a blanket statement because there's enough things that have occurred, enough things that happen. And just because that the attendance literally was smaller than last year, you have people that attended and saying that, you know, the theaters were half empty. It's like E3 was like, you know, empty. They had to, you know, give out additional passes and stuff just to make it look more populated. So the attendance was down. It was down by 3,000, which in the grand scheme of things, when you're going from 69,000 to 66,000, you know, maybe it's not that big of a deal, but that's still a pretty big dip, especially when you're in the same venue. So, and, you know, all of this occurred, you know, prior to some other issues that came out later on in the year. And basically, you know, what happened here was there was some kind of, I guess, issue with the E3 website where they basically unintentionally doxed like thousands of journalists. It was over 2,000 attending journalists with contact information, which I think was like phone numbers, I think some like home addresses, which is not good. So a lot of like personal information that the E3 website accidentally leaked, and luckily it was caught. But, you know, that could also, you know, have some issues in terms of people wanting to attend this year. So it's something to keep in mind. Like the attendance was already down, and now, you know, you're looking at a situation where people had their information somewhat compromised last year. And, you know, what is going to happen this year when they decide if they're going to, you know, sign up or not. So something to think about. I mean, there's a chance that this isn't going to matter. I mean, we've seen information be compromised before. I don't know if to this extent, but, you know, you can think about Target when they had like, you know, the huge like security breach, and then you had to change your credit card because, you know, your information got taken. But I don't think it really, you know, took like addresses or anything, or like even when, you know, PlayStation Network was down for like however long that was. I mean, people still came back and they still did it. You know, they still used it. So it didn't really make a big impact. But I just wonder if this is going to be different, especially because how expensive it is to go and expensive to book hotels and all that. And then you have your information, you know, leaked on top of that.
It's not even just about a breach, to be honest with you. It's the fact that that was just your opinion on E3 and how you generally feel about it. I mean, we're here on Gamepinions to give you what we think of matters in our own opinions, and also in anyone who else has an opinion, like on Twitter, which is probably why he thinks we're looking at propaganda, which I thought that was a term we just used for war, but okay, I guess we declare war. No, but if people have opinions on Twitter, we definitely want to hear about them, and I try to ask him his opinion on E3 too, just so that we can, you know, inform people what you think, but he never responded, sadly.
Well, and so, I do like getting the feedback.
Oh, I love it. Like, I'm glad somebody's interacting.
Yeah, I feel like he wasn't probably like super happy with it, but I'm happy that we're getting, you know, some questions and, you know,
that's what I
some
would
things that kind of help, you know, guide the show along. So in a way, he actually kind of helped, because I was like, hey, we could do an E3 episode, and everything just kind of aligned. But other reasons why, you know, E3 is probably, you know, going to be struggling too is because, you know, three major companies, and there's been other companies too, but the ones that I'm focusing on, the companies that are kind of skipping E3 in some degree, not really fully, but EA has kind of gone away from doing like a big presentation, Nintendo, like we mentioned before, and Sony. And I feel like Sony not being there is going to really hurt the attendance again. And I feel like it's fair to say that part of the reason why the attendance was down last year is because Sony wasn't there. And I feel like Sony is probably permanently done. Like, there's not even a Sony presence there. I feel like they're probably permanently done, and I feel like they have a souring relationship with the ESA. Jason Schreiber, who is a writer over at Kotaku, and I'm not a big fan of Kotaku just because it's not really my favorite website to go look up stuff, but Jason Schreiber is considered one of the best journalists in the industry. He's written, you know, I think a couple different books about video games and all that. He's an expert. He said one juicy tidbit I heard last year was that Sony's main reason for skipping E3 was a disagreement / tension / conflict with the ESA, which is likely the driving factor here as well. And if that is true, missing Sony, like in terms of, just getting people excited for like the event and excited for the press conferences, missing Sony forever now, I think that's going to definitely pay some really, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot. Because I feel like if once Nintendo, once EA, once these big companies realize that the other big companies are dropping out too, and there's not really a big reason to attend anymore or spend any additional money or funds to go out on the floor, it's like, we can go and hold our own events. Nintendo's actually used their E3 games, or that they showed off at the E3 Directs. They've actually gone to Best Buy and did their own thing.
Now, you see, in my opinion, I actually never really cared too much about E3, and the fact that Sony and PlayStation, whatever, they're not attending doesn't really impact me at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I used to just watch them for primarily whatever game, because by the time E3 comes around, I've already heard about all the big titles, what they're probably going to offer, or even a small glimpse into it. And then E3 basically just buffs that up and polish it and gives it to you on a plate. I'd just wait for the game I was looking for and go, oh, thanks, bye. I would actually care, I think, more about it if it was indie games. I think I would actually tune in and watch it more. In my opinion, if it was more for the smaller games I don't know much about, I think I would actually watch it, strangely. So.
Well, I mean, that honestly might be what it turns out to be. Because I feel like a lot of people think that E3 is just going to die. It's just going to be gone.
I don't think it will die.
But I think if it is going to die, I think it's going to be a slow, gradual, painful death. I don't think it's going to be quick. I don't. I know a lot of people think it will be, but I don't think it will. And I feel like at some point in time, maybe that will end up being more of an indie
I think it could
showcase.
blossom better if it actually showcased new games we haven't heard about. I think that would honestly give a lot of support to new games coming out, more developers, more insight into where we're going with, I don't know, new releases, not just our standard big titles. And I would be super excited for that.
But I will say, though, in order for that to happen, the ESA is definitely going to have to adjust, the way they do things, because it's just too expensive right now. I mean, it's like, even for these big companies, it's like, we're shelling out all this money. Is it really beneficial for us to be here right now?
Well, of course, there's going to be a little bit more adjusting and maybe, a new idea behind E3, but I think it could work.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
And I'd be more happy to watch it if it was actually going to take a turn in direction. I'd think I'd be more excited.
Yeah. Yeah,
John,
I mean,
you've been very quiet. Do you have anything to say on it?
He's sleeping. He fell asleep.
I felt sick. Yeah, I mean,
What were you guys talking about?
ESA isn't really that clean of a company. I mean, they're it's a trade company. They're advocates for the gaming industry, but they haven't really been clean about lots of things. Most recently, I remember reading about them not considering loot boxes to be considered gambling. Also been proponents of SOPAs like that stop piracy legislation, which wasn't really like the best written legislation. I think they ended up dropping out of that one support-wise. But, yeah, I mean,
that's not good. I didn't know that.
Do you have any hope that they could revamp what they are?
Yeah, kind of like pull like a Grinch and like grow a bigger heart.
Blame the one guy who did this and blame it on one person and fire them, and then
Yeah,
pick
can you
someone
like
else.
scapegoat somebody? And...
Yeah, can you do what Microsoft did to that one guy and he's just like, go buy a 360 or whatever that guy's name was?
What was that guy's name?
He did this. He did all of it.
I think it was like
Poor guy was just trying to be honest with you that what the expectations for the new console would be. And
I can't remember what that guy's name was.
dude got blasted.
Yeah, he's working for Candy Crush now.
Which isn't that bad. He has a different audience for sure, but I'm sure he's doing just fine.
I'm sure he is too. I am.
What do you think, John? Do you think they have a chance to revamp their stuff, maybe, or take a turn in direction, or do you think they're going to ride out this
Until it burns into
bigger
the ground.
titles per se?
I don't know. Why don't you
until
ask
they
your
think
YouTube
it's not
comments
profitable?
first?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, tell us what you guys think, and I'm still waiting for a response as to what he thinks about E3. Because I honestly was super excited.
He's never gonna watch us again.
I was super
I don't think he ever
excited
watched
to
it
comment,
first.
and then I'm reading it. I'm like, I'm ready for his argument. I'm ready to see what his opinion is so we can talk about it. And then there was
I know,
never
it's
an
like
opinion.
we finally have somebody to talk to that's not each other. And then, but you know what? I was actually really surprised because I went back and listened to that episode. That was really far into the episode. He got to that point. He's like, I had enough. And then he'll never
Look at
see
this
us ever again.
propaganda. I was so excited because I was reading the comment like, where's the opinion? I'm ready to talk about someone else's opinion besides just ours.
I was just surprised because the amount of stupid things that I say throughout our podcast episodes, it's
And they
like,
get caught
that's
up
the
for
one.
that.
That was like my smartest point. Like,
Everything we
Man.
say is opinions and maybe some sprinkle on facts that we've discovered and we're
Game
telling you guys.
facts.
It's general knowledge.
like,
General knowledge.
Like, I'll be honest, like, I start talking at the beginning of these podcasts, and I just hope that I find my way
You found a way.
by the end.
I mean, that's like me saying Xbox. I mean, that one day, remember when I was at lunch and I said FedEx, and I was eating lunch, I was distracted, and I said FedEx is really going downhill. I mean, are you going
It's
to
like
start
he's-
calling me out? Like, where's your facts? Where's your proof of FedEx?
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about, Kim? Like, they're just
I
just
didn't
making a
know.
delivery. Why are they going downhill?
I literally said the wrong thing when I was eating food. It was pretty funny. But I was so excited for like a counter opinion, but there wasn't even an opinion, and I was kind of sad because I was like, well, we were close. Now we still have to go to Twitter for other opinions.
I know, but I
So-
love the people on Twitter. They always
Yeah.
give us some really cool.
Well, I
Love you
mean, going back
guys.
to
I need to grab some.
yeah,
What
going
was
back
that,
to
John?
that one guy's comment. I mean, it's. I think I want like a little bit more explanation as to what he really meant by that comment. I mean,
Yeah, 'cause we perceive it
Yeah, he could
differently.
be making like sense in its own regard, but it's going back to, like I said before, about matter of perspective about attending E3. So someone who's in the industry,
Yeah.
someone who's in the press, and then someone who's just a consumer. It's all a different perspective about what's going on with E3, about everyone dropping out.
Yeah,
So
we all have different like views and opinions about it. So
Yeah.
definitely. And that's why I was like, well, where's your opinion about it? And he never left one, and I was kind of sad.
I think he'll never watch us again. But we blew our chance.
If
We
you're-
had an opportunity and we blew our chance. And
If you're coming to us for news and you got this far, I'm sorry, but we're not quite those kind of people. Like, we'll tell
yeah,
you
we're not the
what's-
news. Like, I like talking about it sometimes, but
By the time you hear it from us, you probably should have known it like 3 months ago.
if you're hearing brand new news from us, something went seriously wrong.
we're trying to just
It's like,
talk
what?
about it.
Pokemon Direct? Thank God for Gamepinions. There's so many like things that you'd have to like go through. There's so many walls you'd have to break through in order to, so many cracks to fall through in order to get to us as your number one news source.
Most people just check their Twitters and stuff and their main pages and
Yeah,
discover
just-
what's coming out. And then when I really hope no one gets the news from us.
I get my news from the trending Twitter topics, which is very dangerous, honestly.
Oh no. I check a couple places. I don't like one person telling me something.
Yeah.
I'm scared. I don't want to be controlled by my mind. I don't know what I'm trying to say either. I'm
God.
just trying to expand here.
Okay,
I
Donkey Kong.
I don't like seeing someone going, the new game sucks. And then I'm like, I don't want that to skew my opinion because I like to have hope. So then I go check a couple other things until I'm like, I'm just going to try it myself. And then I try to make my opinion from that.
I hate when you go onto the NFL Facebook page and then somebody spoils like the entire Force Awakens movie.
Okay.
That's like the first comment.
Where are we now?
I don't know, but you know what?
I think we drifted into space.
I
But
think we have.
that was the point of this podcast. I mean,
So basically, no, the point of this podcast is that E3 has let us down and it keeps on tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down.
please don't
Are you allowed
make
to
this
play
as a
that
fact
music? With
because
Oh, I'm playing it. If this gets copyrighted, we're successful.
they can
probably
have it.
honestly it's probably already planned. It's
I can't
probably
get
planned
copyrighted
right
if
We're not
I start
even
playing
making
it.
fun
I'm
of
like,
it.
do
They
a
can
cover,
just take
and then
it.
we'll all just sing
now. I
it.
think it's under fair use. There you go. Yeah, we'll just edit it in later. Us all singing it. I know.
I'll just
gotta
put
change the
beep
pitch.
after it so we could say it's a remix.
There you go. Yeah, I'll just change
There,
the
now it's
pitch.
ready.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
works?
It's a remix.
All right, guys. Well, I think that we did good today. It's like super late. It's already midnight. This is a nice late night podcast. Next time we'll all whisper.
Yeah, we'll
Just
give
to-
you something to listen to.
Yeah, we'll let the viewers be nice and calm.
I'm not even sure if this will be picked up in editing, but
It probably won't. Well, guys, this has been Gamepinions episode 36. The end of E3angelion.
who wants to hear a podcast of all of us whispering?
It's gonna happen next episode. So, until next time, keep on keeping on. All right, guys. See you later.
It feels so bad. What once was